Good evening, this is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Nobin Pradhan with the evening news and these are the headlines. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says 6,222 Indian nationals evacuated under Operation Ganga in the last 7 days. Second and final phase of assembly elections in Manipur records high voter turnout. Zunheboto police recovers 29,331 numbers of Superdoll plus capsules worth over 5 lakh rupees and active COVID-19 case in Nagaland declines to 62. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 6 feet for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has said that under Operation Ganga in Romania and Moldova, 6,222 Indian nationals were evacuated in the last 7 days. He said flights are operating from Suceava, which is 50 kilometers from the border, instead of transporting students to Bucharest, which is 500 kilometers from the border. Scindia said 1,050 students will be sent home in the next 2 days. The Civil Aviation Minister said in the last 7 days, a total of 29 flights from Romania alone have flown Indian students back to India. 3 C-17 aircrafts have landed at Hindon Airport today, carrying 629 students from Ukraine's neighboring countries, Romania, Poland and Slovakia. Union Minister of State for Defence Ajay Bhatt received the students evacuated under Operation Ganga at Hindon Airport. The minister said he is glad to see the happiness and relief on the faces of young and brave students. Meanwhile, Ministry of External Affairs has said that it is deeply concerned about Indian students in Sumy, Ukraine. MEA spokesperson Arindam Bakshi said the ministry has strongly pressed Russian and Ukrainian governments through multiple channels for an immediate ceasefire to create a safe corridor for Indian students. The Ministry of External Affairs has advised students to take safety precautions, stay inside shelters and avoid unnecessary risks. It said the ministry and embassies are in regular touch with the students. Polling was held for the second and final phase of assembly elections in Manipur today. The office of the CEO Manipur has informed that around 68% voter turnout has been registered by 5 p.m. today in the final phase, while 75% has been registered for the repolls in 12 polling stations under 5 assembly constituencies. However, the final voting percentage could only be determined when all the polling officials reach district headquarters after completion of voting. Meanwhile, polling officials of most of the polling stations reached their district headquarters along with EVM and VVPAT machines and kept the machines in the strong room after verification. The voting, which began at 7 this morning, was scheduled to end at 4 p.m., but due to large number of voter turnout, election officials have permitted those who came before 4 p.m. to stay in queue to cast their votes. Tokens were given to them and polling continued till the last voter cast the vote. Even during the first phase, the same system was followed. Polling is held in 22 constituencies spread over 10 districts in this phase. These districts are Thobal, Kakching, Tamenglong, None, Jiribam, Chandel, Tegnopal, Ukhrul, Kamjong and Senapati. 92 candidates, including 2 women, are in the fray in this phase. BJP has fielded 22 candidates while Congress is contesting 18 seats. NPP and NPF have fielded 10 candidates each. Special Operation Team of Zunheboto Police has recovered 29,331 numbers of Superdoll plus capsules worth approximately 5,86,000 rupees from Zunheboto town and arrested 1 person in this regard. Police headquarters in Kohima said the seizure was made when Zunheboto Police conducted raids based on a specific input regarding the sale and distribution of psychotropic drugs. Police said a case has been registered against the accused for further investigation. Meanwhile, Mokokchung Police, with the assistance of Dimapur Police, arrested 2 persons for extorting and robbing keys of an excavator engaged in earth-cutting work. Police headquarters said on receiving complaint, police immediately launched an operation and arrested the duo, from whom a .32 pistol along with 7 live rounds were also recovered. You're listening to the news from AIR News, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News, Kohima. Nagaland today reported 2 fresh COVID-19 positive cases, 1 each from Kohima and Wokha, increasing the total cases detection in the state to 35,419. Meanwhile, the total recovery from the infection has gone up to 33,119, with 4 recoveries, 3 from Dimapur and 1 from Kohima, reported today. Currently, the total active COVID-19 case in the state is 62. Till today, Nagaland has conducted 4,61,543 sample tests for COVID-19. An off-site disaster drill in conjunction with the 51st National Safety Day on the theme Nurture Young Minds, Develop Safety Culture was organized by Labour Department and Indian Oil Corporation in collaboration with Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority at Dimapur yesterday. IOCL officials informed that every year on March 4, India commemorates National Safety Day to raise awareness and commitment to working safely. This year, IOCL Dimapur Depot collaborated with Labour Department and Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority, SDRF, NDRF and civil societies and raised awareness of the neighbouring communities towards various emergency scenarios which could occur from the depot and help them prepare to tackle any emergency through community talk on 3rd March. Today is the last day for campaigning for the 7th and final phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh, which will be held on 7th March. AIR correspondent reported that poll campaign ended at 4 p.m. this evening on Chakia Assembly seat of Chandauli district and Robertsganj and Assembly seats of Sonbhadra district. On the rest of 51 Assembly seats, the campaign came to a close at 6 p.m. this evening. High voltage campaigning was observed at all Assembly seats of this phase. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Varanasi yesterday and campaigned for the party. He held a meeting with the intellectual class of Varanasi today morning. Later, he addressed a rally in Varanasi. Samajwadi Party President Akhilesh Yadav is also campaigning in Varanasi. He visited temples and performed puja this morning. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra held a roadshow in Varanasi today. Over 178 crore 55 lakh doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive so far. The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said more than 24,62,000 COVID vaccine doses were administered to the eligible beneficiaries yesterday. The country reported 5,921 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Currently, India's active caseload stands at 63,878. The Union Health Ministry said more than 11,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate stands at 98.65%. More than 4 crore 23 lakh patients have recovered from COVID-19 in the country so far. The ministry said more than 77 crore 19 lakh COVID-19 tests have been conducted so far. More than 9 lakh 40,000 COVID tests have been conducted in the last 24 hours. And to end the news, rewind of the headlines. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says 6,222 Indian nationals evacuated under Operation Ganga in the last 7 days. Second and final phase of assembly elections in Manipur records high voter turnout. Zunheboto police recovers 29,331 numbers of Superdol plus capsules worth over 5 lakh rupees and active COVID-19 case in Nagaland declines to 62. And that's all the news we have for you this evening. Good night.